Dziękuję August Felcher Rodestock. It's Misha Drolling and Will Tugama. Are you well? I hope you're well. I am not well. I am finding myself in a position that I don't like feeling. And I'm going to be raw and real with you guys. That I'm triggered. I admit it. Anytime I'm online on social media, which is poisonous, but I kind of have to be because I'm doing this business thing. Anytime that I'm on social media around the holidays, now is currently Imbolg. So I'm doing my best not to be triggered, swiping past things, and I find that my entire feed is full of information that's making me want to argue, making me be like, that's not right. It's tough to even breathe through. I'm like, sometimes, depending on what the content is, I'm in a rage. I'm like, when is this going to stop? Currently, the stuff that's really annoying is all of this content dealing with Saint Bridget. Ask yourself, what do we really know about Saint Bridget historically? Okay? What is everything that we know about Saint Bridget? Where did it come from? Is it more likely that it was actually invented and that she never existed at all? Then you have to ask yourself, why does she exist now? Why did she exist in the first place, and why was she made up? Gee, didn't we have a goddess named the same god after the same name? Look into the roots of her name. What does it mean? How far back does it go? Where does it come from? So all these little traditions that we have that are associated with Saint Bridget at this time of year, these folk practices, these customs, these traditions that Christianity, that Catholicism, Saint Bridget, are basically taking credit for things that we have had in our culture as pagans for how long before they came around? So to see modern pagans, modern Gaelic pagans, modern Celtic pagans, Druids, accepting that Saint Bridget and the goddess are the same, or they're the one, or they're united, makes my blood curdle. What makes it okay for Christianity to come and just insert itself and then take our stuff and claim it as their own? Let me give you an example. Our goddess, Brigid, or Brija, Brigit, one of the customs is her cloak, her brat. You'll see all these little traditions being shared and passed around online, that you could put a handkerchief out there, or like a little clootie, like a little piece of fabric, or a scrap piece of fabric that you put outside the night before. And Saint Bridget comes along and blesses it, and then you bring it in the house, and then you have it because she came by and blessed it. Okay? Brigits Cloak. It's a brat. It's a cloak. Sometimes they're referring to it as a mantle. It's not a mantle. A brat is a cloak. And what was a cloak? It was a very large piece of woolen fabric, 100% wool. Generally the size of a double or queen size blanket. So a very large, warm, soft, thick wool blanket would suffice. And there's a reason it's not a handkerchief or a clootie or a small little piece of linen that you hang outside your window. Her cloak is meant to be used and wrapped around a sick person. And there was actually a special method that they used to wrap somebody up in. How are you going to use a handkerchief to help heal somebody because the goddess came by and blessed it? Well, it's symbolic. You can just place it on the person, or you put it in their pocket. You'll come across some literature saying that you left it out for 7 years, and that's kind of the common accepted modern cultural practice. Is you left your brat out, and you did this once a year for 7 years for it to gain its full holistic healing powers. But if we know anything about our ancestors, the number 7 wasn't a thing. Anytime you see the number 7 pop up in Irish folklore, in the stories, the lore, you immediately have to turn your brain to the monks, to Christianity. 7 was not one of our numbers that we ever were dealing with. Our numbers were 3 and 9. Those were the numbers that we used most frequently. Yes, we had the concept of 5 that we used for certain things, but most commonly it was 3 and 9. This is moist. Hard time staying lit. Nothing stops you from getting a really nice wool blanket and designating that to your special brat, your cloak for Brigida. Maybe you want to use a family tartan. Maybe you want a solid piece like white or red. But the cloak is used to help people that are sick when they are under the weather. Under the weather. See? And it was made from 100% wool. Gee, where does wool come from? What animal is associated with ilmok? It's all connected. People don't want to see it. So go out this year, so you have it for next year, and shop around for the right piece of fabric, or even a pre-made blanket. Or if you're crafty enough, you might crochet one, or you might knit one. But then you'll have something that you can pass down as an heirloom to your children, to your grandchildren, that you use year after year after year. That's not just a piece of linen or cotton. It's not, a handkerchief. It's a cloak for a reason. And it's used a specific way. And for a specific purpose. And there are words to be said. And it has nothing to do with a saint. So that's that. That's all I have to say about that. Be well. Sloan the Fool.